Hello and welcome to today's episode of Made Fruitful by God. In Romans 4, verse 20, we have an account of Abraham, and that place stated that he staggered not at the promises of God through unbelief, but he was strong in faith, giving glory to God. That same strong faith is what gave this woman a miracle baby after 5 miscarriages and years of waiting. I don't know what your story is, but if you can quicken your faith and give glory to God, key into this testimony, and I'm sure you'll be next in line to testify. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in our next episode.
Last year marked 50 miscarriage that I've had. I was really in a bad place. I was not in a good place at all. I remember on the last day of 2024, after NSPPD that day, I was really overwhelmed because the last miscarriage I had was during the festive season last year. And I was telling my husband that, you know what, I'm done. I can't go through this again. If I go through another loss, I think my enemy might run mad. And he was like, oh, don't you have faith? Just calm down. And I remember telling him that, okay, let's try surrogacy. I said, people do it. And I remember that I was hearing a voice in my mind that do not lean on your own understanding. And, I kept arguing with him, but the voice was loud, do not lean on your own understanding. So I came to the night service that day with a very bitter heart. I remember going to the toilet crying, I'll come back to the service, but I was really expectant of voting. That was the theme of 2025. I don't know why, but I was expectant. And Pastor Jerry came and he said, oh, this year we are running with Error again.
People of God, welcome to 2025. Streams of joy, NSPPDs, welcome to 2025, our second year of Elroy, the God that sees me. Elroy.
Because I remember that day, it was as if the devil was poking me like, oh, you had a lot of losses in 2024. What is going to happen in 2025? And when Pastor Jerry came, he said, we are running with Error again. And he said, this is for those that think Error did not see them in 2024. So I held on to that word. And when he was preaching, he said, oh, this year you have a baby and it shall be called God Hears.
You're going to carry a baby in 2025. The name of your baby will be called God Hears.
I held on to that one too. 2nd of January, Pastor Jerry was praying on NSPPD and he said, that wickedness is reversed. This year there shall be no miscarriage.
By the power that raised Jesus from the dead, this wickedness, I announce, let it be reversed. That woman hear the word of the Lord. There will be no miscarriage this year.
I downloaded that clip and I was always playing with it. 21 days fasting started and I said, oh, I'm going to join. And I remember that I had 3 significant dreams in that 21 days. The first one, I remember that I was in the church, I was on my knees and I was praying to God that God, have mercy on me. I've had 5 miscarriages, have mercy on me. And then 2 men came. One was asking, how long has she been here? I remember standing up in that dream and said, no, this is not my first time here. I've been praying to God. I've had 5 miscarriages. I can't go through this again. Then the next thing, I found myself in front of a baby, a newborn baby. The other guy was standing in front of me and he said, oh, the baby is dead. I remember shouting, Elroy. I kept praying, Elroy. I was crying in that dream. I said, Elroy, I can't have another loss. And then they tapped me and said, the baby lives. And they gave me the baby. I remember dancing in that dream and I woke up. I was happy, I was dancing. The second dream, like 2 days after, during that 21 days, myself and my husband were going. These 2 men, they appeared, they gave me a baby. It was a baby boy. The first one too, it was a baby boy. I carried him and we were dancing, we were happy. During all this period, the fertility clinic was also doing their investigation, what is causing these miscarriages. And remember, they said, oh, I should come for tests and all, and they were like, oh, come again in February. And I remember telling them that by February I'll be pregnant, and I just left. The last day of fasting and prayer in this year, that 21 days, I remember Pastor Jerry was praying and he was saying, God, let it show that I've met with you.
Roy, by your mercy, at these 21 days, let there be an evidence that your people met with you. Abba, let it show. Abba, let it show. Abba, let there be an evidence that your people met with you.
I remember kneeling down and crying to God, that God, let it show that I've met with you. By February, truly, I was pregnant. So I checked and it was positive, and then we kept going. I was scared through the journey, especially that first few weeks, because none of this pregnancy lasted first trimester. I kept going. They were like, oh, come. Then they said, oh, we can see a sac. Trust me, brethren, I've never gone to the hospital without spotting. That was the first time I would go to the hospital without spotting, no bleeding. They said, come in 2 weeks. They were like, oh, let's check for heartbeat. Then they said, oh, there's heartbeat. That was how the journey started. Brethren, I passed through first trimester. It was amazing. And Roy came through for me. On the day of delivery, Roy came through. I came out, my baby came out safely and sound. And I'm here to testify that God did it. And Roy truly did it, because if I went through my imagination last year, I didn't know this year will end like this. I thought maybe this year will be another story, but Roy changed the story. I'm here to say what God cannot do.